constantly having like a couple different things to do, it's hard to stay focused on one thing and be present because you're constantly thinking about what you have to do next for work or life or school, any of it.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Cinemention. Today, I'm with my brother Noah. Oh man. And we are talking about staying present. Now, Noah lives in Fort Collins, Colorado, which is where we're doing this video. And it's been really interesting just like trying to make this video, but still feeling like I can be on vacation and still staying present with him. When I was on the plane, I met this guy who was a chiropractor, and he had his son, his 12-year-old son with him. And he, as we were talking, he actually had a practice in Chicago where we were flying out of, and then he had a practice in Boulder where he was flying too. And he just had this like precious time with his son. And it was like his son went with him to his work in Chicago. But on the plane ride, he just like invested in his son in that time, or wasn't thinking about, his practice in Chicago or his practice in Boulder. He just knew, this is where I am right now. My son's gonna be 18, 19, 20. He's gonna leave the house eventually. These are precious times. Mm-hmm. And that really spoke to me because, like, I feel like that's something I really need to work on. To just be able to unplug from and focus on people instead. I think even your girlfriend was saying that, like, a way to measure what's significant in life is to ask yourself if it's eternally significant. Mm-hmm. And she followed that up by saying relationships are eternally significant. Mm-hmm. We don't see each other that much, and it's important to have time for family and those relationships, but what do you do when you have things on your mind? When you have tasks at hand that you have to get done?
We were in this native village, and we didn't have internet, we didn't have phones, we didn't have even a TV. I was pretty much completely cut off from, media and even advertising. Like, I didn't even see any advertising anywhere. And I remember going fishing for halibut.
This is in Alaska, right?
In Alaska,
okay.
Yeah. And so we were out just in this, at sea, in this beautiful area. Like, everywhere you look is just a postcard. I remember, like, it was a great day. We caught a bunch of fish. I caught 2 halibut. Somebody did have internet, and they posted kind of what we were doing. And I remember seeing, like, people were responding to what we were doing. And it's like we were out living life and having this awesome adventure. And then somebody else was back home, like, on their computer watching other people live life and have adventure. And I feel like with technology, so many people miss out on life.
In the game?
They're spectators instead of players.
Yeah.
And so I feel like even the people, that are like making movies, like, I feel like there's a piece of life, to a sense, that you're kind of missing out on, because you're not able to live in the moment because you're thinking about, like, how can I shape this into something that people will enjoy.
So when you're saying that reminds me that, in a sense, when I'm making these videos every week, you feel like you're producing the moment, you're polishing the moment, you're bringing in the lighting, you're bringing in the sound. Mm-hmm. All those things can, take you away from, as the viewer, it can take you away from the moment. So it's hard to produce the moment and live in the moment. For me, there's always going to be another video, paper to write, for you, a picture to draw.
A song to learn.
A song to learn. A business to entrepreneur. But people are special, and people are always there, but they're not always there.
Mm-hmm. If I'm not meeting really interesting people and making those connections, it doesn't even matter. I would rather go to some, boring, dull city and make really cool connections with people, really interesting people, and kind of learn about their passions and their culture, as opposed to going to some, beautiful city with, every direction is just a perfect picture, and then just being isolated from relationships.
Yeah. I couldn't get out of my mind. I needed to get a microphone. Even spending more money, I have one at home, but I forgot it here. And I think at times, as we're trying to produce that moment, there are those things that we're like, nope, I need that, I need that, I need that. But ultimately, we need to trust God that He'll take care of those details in our lives. And it's cool to see that when we do trust Him with those details, to see what He does through that. Department stores or something, when they have the credit card machines right there, and you're following those prompts. Mm-hmm. And so we kind of feel exposed in that moment. Oh, I got to make sure that I'm pushing all these buttons and I'm not looking stupid, you know? But when we're not looking stupid, we're also not engaging with a human.
Right.
Technology is getting better, but our insecurities are not getting better.
I think at the core, people are looking for that connection. They're looking to connect with people because everybody's on Facebook, everybody's on Twitter, whatever. But the exchange is you're in a public place and nobody's interacting with each other. And it's a worldwide epidemic. Like I see it in other countries too. Like, where you used to be able to get on the train and more likely than not, you would be able to have a really awesome conversation with someone. You just look across to them and they're just glued to their phone, they're checking Facebook, they're whatever. Mm-hmm. Anything but what's in front of them. And I say them, I mean, I'm talking about myself too.
Yeah, sure.
I think about life-giving moments, and I think the way I see it is you're either engaging with God's creation in the form of the people that He's created, or you're engaging with God's creation in the nature that He's created. I know if there's a day that I've just been alone and isolated and haven't had opportunities to connect with people, if I don't have those opportunities to connect with people, the other life-giving option is to get outside, get away from a man-made structure, even if it's walking through a neighborhood, and then just being able to acknowledge the beauty of the little things, the little creations He's made. You hear the birds chirp, the birds singing, mm-hmm. or the squirrels in the trees, or whatever. It's the life-giving moments are either in His creation or connecting with His creation.
He did actually pull me away to camp, and I survived. But we were camping, there was like a bubbling stream the whole time. Mm-hmm. The whole time we were there. And it was interesting how, a lot of times our phone can be that constant noise in our life. Kind of that white noise in our life. It's constantly on. But in this case, it was like God's creation was constantly on. Mm-hmm. And I think we were a little bit like, whoa, that's kind of weird or like we weren't used to that.